All right, let's see what's going on, everybody. This is going to be my weekly recap video for the week ending on April 19th. And this was a really bad week of trading for me. I ended up breaking my rules for the first time since February, actually, and I broke my rules multiple times. I had a winning trade. Well, let's see. Started on Sunday. Sunday I took definitely too many trades, and too many entries, trying to you know, trying to take more than what the market was offering, essentially. And I ended up turning a profit slightly after recouping some losses. And then going into Tuesday, I had a trade that went very much into profit, almost $1,000. But because of all of these trends that I would see, become really the daily trend, and how far some of these trade ideas would work for, I decided to let that trade stay open, and I didn't trail my stop loss as closely as I should have, and the result of that trade was a losing trade. It went all the way back to my entry, and I got stopped out for a loss. And after that, I realized, it put me in a very emotional sort of mind state where I was, trying to fight the market, trying to revenge trade, make back losses, the whole mix. So after seeing that, I realized, and as a result, obviously taking a whole bunch of impulse entries after that winning trade that turned into a loser. I realized that it's very important for me to try and, you know put myself in using rules that I'm coming up with, to try and find rules that will put myself in a very dispassionate sort of state of mind, so that I'm able to trade more rationally. And I a lot of times I think back to Tom Hugard's book called "The Best Loser Wins," and he talks about both of these things in his book. He talks about the importance of not being so quick to take profits, because you're never going to really be able to see the true potential of your bias, um, which is sort of what I had in mind in letting that trade continue. If I always took profits as soon as I saw a quote unquote big number, I'm never going to find one of these trades that may double or even triple my account. And so there was that sort of that was ringing in my head at the time, and then afterward realizing how much damage it caused to my account in me trying to accomplish that, or me trying to get the most I could possibly get from my trade. I was not able to trade dispassionately, and so I think be putting myself in a position where I'm not so tilted mentally, is a much better idea than to try and capture every dollar, every cent, that I think might be there in the market. Because the reality is, you know, I've seen a lot of my trades go several $100s into profit, just for me to let it turn around and for a loss. And so, from the get go, I've always had the idea of trailing that stop loss. But recently, it's just been a question of, after, watching some of the trends in the market that I'm trading, I'll see, I'll see pullbacks, and it's just become very, very difficult to see and determine, okay, how much of a pullback is too much to allow these open profits to go away. What's a healthy pullback, and at what point is the drawn liquidity really changing? And obviously, it's impossible to know that. And so that is part of why I think my urge or my desire to find these trades that are capture the entire daily range. I think that's a lot of me and my mind trying to figure out the market, in a sense, which is another thing that you should never really do. You should just accept the fact that the market is not going to be some sort of formula or equation that you can figure out and solve for 100% of the time. And there's always going to be that uncertainty. You cannot know that this, whatever trend is going to go this way for this amount of time. No key level is guaranteed to work in your favor. And so I've come up with very strict rules for where I'm going to trail my stop loss to based on how much my trade has gone into profit. Because I still, like I said, I think a lot about that book and the idea of allowing your trade to continue in your favor, right? Like I don't want to use a take profit order, just in case that momentum is still there. But I do want to make sure that I'm not allowing you know trades like this where I'm hitting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 1 in my risk reward ratio. I don't want to let the trades that big ride back to zero. I definitely want to try and mitigate that. So, um, for going forward, anytime once I get into uh, profit of 2 to 1, once I'm 2 to 1, I'm going to trail my stop loss at break even. Once I'm at 3 to 1, I'm going to trail at 1.5 profit to 1. And anything above 4 to 1 or higher, I'm going to trail my stop loss like one of so if I'm risking $100 and I'm at $400 profit, I'm only and anything above that, I'm only going to trail it $100 away from where the position currently sits. So if it's at 4 to 1, I'm going to trail it at 3 to 1. If it's at 5 to 1, I'm going to trail 4 to 1, and so on. And that's just going to be the rule that I'm going to try and implement going into next week. Racked up an insane amount of losses in commission as well. It was ridiculous. Seeing how much the brokerage fees and the commission costs for how many contracts I traded the other day. But that's the plan. Anytime I get a trade that is substantially in profit, I really have to work hard to leave breathing room, but not risk every dollar of open profit that I have, right? I have to come up with a plan on taking profits uh, that makes sense. And right now, that's really what I'm working on. And here's the thing: the problem is there are ways that I can have taken profits in the past and taken profits successfully, but it's a matter of finding a way to do it that allows me to trade unemotionally and allows me to trade rationally and allows me to have consistency with. So you could have any type of profit taking rule or criteria or plan that you implement, but it's really about finding a way to implement a rule that fits well with your personality and that is going. It's just like almost like with like a diet, right? So if you're starving yourself as a way to try and lose weight, like that's usually not very sustainable. So you want to have as balanced an approach as possible so that you're able to have longevity with your plan, with your whatever sort of trading plan you develop. And so that's where I am this week. It sucks, lost some money, lost way more than I should have risked, but learned some lessons and have started to try and implement new rules to prevent this from happening again. I did go about 2 months without breaking any of my rules, which is good. Um, so I think anytime I do break them, I try and improve in some way. I try and, you know, take note of what caused me to violate my rules and implement something that'll, help prevent it in the future. And that's just really all you can do. So that's gonna do it for this week, and hopefully next week we're gonna see some type of change in my trading performance here. But until next time, I wish everybody luck with their trades or whatever it is you have going on in life, and I'll see you next week.